Good morning, everyone. Ooh, that's quite loud. Good morning, everyone. It's terrific to be here. In March of 2017, I came into work to discover that I'd lost 50% of my customers. Between 2015 and 2017, I had helped build a pay TV business in Western Europe as Chief Operating Officer. The business was designed to transfer or migrate as many of the 4 million customers currently watching terrestrial TV to a new standard as part of an infrastructure upgrade. As you can imagine, what was already a cold, wet, kind of miserable March morning had just got a little bit worse. Over the next 2 or 3 months, we spent a lot of time soul-searching, me and my colleagues, trying to figure out what had gone wrong. We also spent a ton of time doing some customer research, and that's what I want to share with you today. This research yielded a series of challenges that faced us, faced the broader industry, and faced you in this room. Now, we overcame these challenges. We came out of the other side, and 6 months later, we'd reacquired about 1 million of those 2 million customers that we had lost. And so, whilst I want to dwell on these, I also want to share the opportunities that I think these challenges present. First, and it's a little bit of a truism, but the world of pay TV and content is being buffeted by OTT. Although growth in OTT is projected to go down, decrease slightly over the coming 5 years from the precipitous rate between 2011 and 2016, the trend will continue, and it'll continue everywhere. Whether this is in North America, where pay TV is expected to be relatively flat and OTT growing at 12%, or in EMEA, where pay TV continues to eke out a little bit of growth over the coming 5 years, and you get a precipitous increase in OTT revenues. Now, this trend is being driven by a proliferation of platforms. You know, gone are the days where the only way to watch TV clearly is your cable company. In fact, gone are the days where it's only Netflix or Amazon. There's now a proliferation of different digital platforms available to suit every taste, every content genre, everything under the sun. Whether it's Vimeo, YouTube for short-form content, or Twitch and other live streaming services for gaming. Now, part of this growth clearly is driven by our second challenge and the huge and increasing investment in content by two of the primary players in this market, Amazon and Netflix. Gone are the days of 2012 where Netflix content budget was about $1.5 billion. Today, Netflix is spending between 6 and 7 billion. By 2020, we expect it to top 7 and for Amazon to have caught up. Now, that's not the only important thing here. It's also the share of content spend that's on originals. By 2020, we expect Netflix and Amazon to be spending up to 1/3 of content on original content production. And that means you get a precipitous and completely unsustainable growth in the production of premium content rights, which are putting traditional content investment budgets from regular players under huge pressure. Let's take 3 examples, all from Netflix. House of Cards, in the news a lot at the moment, for unfortunate reasons. 5 seasons at an average cost of $5 million an episode. Marco Polo, 2 seasons, $7 million. The Crown, 1 season, $13 million, making it one of the most expensive per episode productions in history. Legacy players, as they currently are structured, are simply unable to keep pace with this growth, driven as it is by an equity story rather than investor need for EBITDA and returns. Now, the content landscape, as you heard from the panel 2 talks ago, isn't static. And our third challenge is the increasing breakdown of historically concrete barriers. This breakdown occurs across both scripted and non-scripted. I've got 4 examples for you. You've got the fusion of fiction and documentary in Netflix's Making a Murderer. You have the development of scripted, non-scripted content, like, again, Netflix's Last Chance U. And you've got an increasing prominence of mobile-first content. I couldn't resist this, but or as a Brit, our very own James Corden, carpool karaoke. Again, content designed for consumption, although produced on cable TV, designed specifically for consumption on a mobile device. Now, mobile in of itself is becoming increasingly important. And this is the fourth challenge that, again, we faced back in March. The amount of time people are spending online and the share of that time that people are spending watching video is dramatically increasing. In 2010, people on average watched about an hour a day, 62 minutes, the average consumer spent online. 2016, last year, that's almost trebled. 3 hours a day, 3 hours of your life, every single day, online. But the share of that time spent watching video has also doubled. Now, of that 3 hours, people are spending 60%, so just under 2, watching video content. Whether that's, as I think the first session talked a little bit about, whether that's watching Netflix on the side while you're doing some work on your smartphone that you're not really paying attention to, but is just there in the background, or whether it's going through an Instagram or a Facebook feed and picking up on short-form video. Now, most of this growth is driven by mobile, as I said. And although TV continues to represent 40% of content viewing, the chips are beginning to turn. So at the moment, TV is growing at about 4%, roughly. So growth in viewing of content on TV is growing at about 4% year on year. Mobile, by contrast, is growing at 30%, slightly down from the previous 3 years, but still expected to grow. As I said, TV is still the largest reception mode, at about 40% of total time, but mobile is quickly catching up. And within 2 or 3 years, we expect mobile devices to be the primary mechanism for consumers to engage with and watch video. Now, the advertising spend is following that change in consumer consumption patterns. And that's really worrying, at least for many of us in this room who make our living through working for or with kind of legacy traditional media companies. Here I have some information on ad sales and revenue growth in ad sales. You'll see that TV ad growth is pootering along about 5-6% year on year, compared to advertising growth in online video increasing at 58%. Now, of course, TV continues to be the primary channel for big advertisers, certainly in terms of spend, and I don't think that's going to change in the near term. But it does give a signal, the canary, if you will, the canary in the mine is cheaping for legacy media companies who are reliant on TV-driven ad revenue streams. And if they don't start pivoting towards a much more digitally oriented approach to making money, to monetizing those eyeballs, then their days are numbered. Now, not only is the ad spend shifting and fundamentally disrupting business models for media players, but their go-to-market approach is changing too. You see, in 2016, almost 1/2 of online referrals come through social media platforms. So just think about that. 1/2 of referrals coming through social media platforms. So that's new leads for products, for services, recommendations for friends, recommendations for holidays, all shifting to social, away from word of mouth, media, and other different channels. And this means that to be successful in this new world, media companies, video companies, companies that you all work for and represent, need to think about how they take advantage of those new channels that 5, 6, 7 years ago simply did not exist. Now, I've spent, at least my timer tells me, I've spent 11 minutes talking about challenges. And these challenges are real. And they're causing the precipitous decline in stock prices that we're seeing, for example, amongst cable companies in the US. But these challenges also present opportunities. And there's no clear medicine here, but I wanted to call out 5. They present opportunities around content investment. Now, of course, we can't all be spending $7 or $8 billion a year of which 1/3 is original content like Netflix and Amazon. But they present opportunities to create specific content niches targeted at consumers around interests or around demographics. For example, the increase in ethnic cable channels or cable networks, or indeed mobile short form, as I talked a little bit about before. They create opportunities around aggregation. In a world of increasing proliferation of digital platforms, there's a real value to consumers by bringing all of that together. Now that can be short form like YouTube or Vimeo, but it also can be long form. A lot of telcos, BT for example, bringing together different VOD platforms in one place, one easy-to-use experience. You're seeing consolidation, whether that's AT&T, Time Warner, Discovery, Scripps. Suddenly scale is important in this new world as companies seek to monetize or amortize content investment costs over huge numbers of eyeballs globally. You've got D2C, taking your content, giving it direct to consumer. You may have seen Disney's recent announcement about, through their purchase with BAMTech, their drive into taking their content to kids. And then finally, you've got monetization of advertising. Again, as the last speaker spoke about, video gives you a real window into consumer tastes and preferences. It's hugely valuable data you can use to not only sell your content, but rather to monetize through different forms. Now, yes, as I said, the challenges are real, but so are the opportunities, particularly to those who are brave enough to try and grab them. We realized this on that cold, miserable, and now, in retrospect, slightly less depressing night in March, and I hope you all realize it too. Thank you very much.